Thanks, Rita. Welcome to Monday's Look North. Here come our top stories. An official review criticises the treatment of a Yorkshire teacher at the centre of a protest over images of the Prophet Muhammad.
He did not feel that he was being given any support at all by the council, West Yorkshire Police or by Batley Multi-Academy Trust.
The review also says protests outside of schools should be banned. Also coming up tonight, parents of toddlers in Leeds say they're concerned that 3 council-run nurseries could be closing with only 8 weeks' notice. A new generation of modern airships could be built in a Doncaster village, creating more than 1,000 new jobs. And we're celebrating with the Spy Rights. Chesterfield have won promotion back into the English Football League.
And it was yet another wet dog walk this morning in Denham. It's a very unsettled week. Join me for the detailed forecast, plus a new weather feature. Don't miss it.
Hello, thanks for choosing Look North. It's a busy one tonight, so we'll crack on. An official review has found a teacher who was forced into hiding after showing pupils a cartoon of the Prophet Muhammad was failed by his school, council and police. There were 2 days of protests outside Batley Grammar School after the incident in 2021. Depictions of the Prophet Muhammad are considered deeply offensive in the Muslim faith. The police and school have criticised the report. Our social affairs correspondent Emma Glasby has more.
March 2021. Protesters gathered outside Batley Grammar School after a cartoon of the Prophet Muhammad was shown to pupils in a religious studies class. The teacher was suspended and went into hiding. An investigation cleared him of any malicious intent, but he received threats and suffered post-traumatic stress disorder. Today, a review by government advisor Sara is scathing, saying the teacher was let down by all the agencies involved, including West Yorkshire Police, Kirklees Council and the school. It says appeasing the protesters appeared to be the priority at the expense of the teacher. The report recommends buffer zones around schools to restrict protests immediately outside. Well, the Batley Multi-Academy Trust has said it is disappointed by this report and does not recognise much of what is in it. In a statement, it says it did provide the teacher involved with counselling and wider support. It goes on to say, we let the government know ahead of publication that its draft report contained a number of factual inaccuracies and note that these have not been corrected. West Yorkshire Police is criticised in today's review for not treating the teacher as a victim of crime, but the Deputy Mayor for Policing has described the report as odd and contradictory.
In the pages of the report it says West Yorkshire Police did nothing according to the victim, and then it says that West Yorkshire Police set up a special task force to deal with the matter, so that's not doing anything. That West Yorkshire Police had a dedicated victim liaison person, so West Yorkshire Police will say that they did all that they should have done, and I understand that they're quite disappointed that they've been named in this report without having had the opportunity to respond formally.
But a solicitor who represented some of the Batley Grammar School parents told me he believes the report is right to highlight a considerable lack of leadership.
There was no information or there was no communication about the lesson, what the contents of the lesson were, what the context of it was. We speak with hindsight now, but it seems that the protests were wholly based on rumour and gossip.
Today's report makes very uncomfortable reading for West Yorkshire Police and Kirklees Council, both accused of failing to understand the seriousness of this case. They say they'll now review the report and its recommendations. Emma Glasby, BBC Look North, Batley.
Well, earlier I spoke to the review author, Dame Sara. She advises the government on social cohesion.
My report shows that was an absolutely horrific case. And what we showed was that the agencies who should have actually protected him failed him. He did not receive adequate support. He did not receive provision, and he actually felt isolated. He did not feel that he was being given any support at all by the council, West Yorkshire Police, or by Batley Multi Academy Trust. And what I show in my report is how things could have been improved by all of those agencies. And I hope that is something that all of them look at and reassess if anything like this happens again.
You are very critical, like you say, of the council, the police and the school. What could they or should they have done?
Well, I think they should have understood the seriousness of the issue. I mean, he had been threatened, his picture had been uploaded online, his home details, his car details, his name, for example, that was deeply threatening for him. And one of the things that I say in my report is that nowhere did anybody condemn those protests. Nowhere did anyone say we will not tolerate any type of harassment, abuse or intimidation that's levelled at the teaching staff, and in particular that teacher. And if you do, we will come and arrest you. There was none of that type of condemnatory language. And I think that was really, really important.
Let me put something to you from the school. We've had a statement that says, we do not recognise much of what is in the report, its description of the events, nor the characterisation of the school and community. We let the government know ahead of publication the draft report contained a number of factual inaccuracies, but note these have not been corrected. What's your reaction to that? It's saying you've got it wrong.
Well, I reject Batley Multi Academies Trust. They've had plenty of opportunities to see the report, and there are no, for example, individuals named. So I am disappointed by that. I think what the trust failed to understand is that they are not appreciating that this is looking at the experience of the victim. It's not my words of how he felt the trust failed him, it's the words of the RS teacher. And also, I think it's really important for the trust to reflect on the recommendations I've made, to understand that actually there are things that they could have done that could improve the situation for the RS teacher, that they could have handled some of this a lot better. So I'm just disappointed by their response, really.
Similarly, the Deputy Mayor, Alison Lowe, says West Yorkshire Police were not involved properly in this. Who did you speak to at the force?
Well, no, so I did speak to West Yorkshire Police, and they clearly confirmed to me the actions that they took and the actions that they didn't took, and that's clearly outlined in my report. This is a time to be open, to understand that this has been looked at through an independent lens, and to learn lessons from it, not to get defensive about it, but actually to learn lessons to ensure that we protect people in our country who are just going about doing their jobs and not having to experience this type of threatening and abusive harassment, which has no place in our society.
Dame Sara Khan, thank you very much for your time on Look North this evening. Also tonight, parents in Leeds say they've been left worried and upset that 3 council-run nurseries could shut in as little as 2 months' time. It follows a council review and comes as the government plans to extend free childcare to 2-year-olds from next month, even though many nurseries say they're not ready, as Kathy Killick reports.
3-year-old Jacob has been going to nursery for just over a year and has thrived there. But his family's just learnt it's to close, giving them just 8 weeks to find another place. It's left them reeling.
Angry, shocking, we're really upset about it. Halfway through the year, it's going to be very hard to find nursery, and I haven't spoken to my work yet because I don't know what it means, but it could mean potentially having to change my hours, take time out of work to look after him.
Leeds City Council is proposing to close 3 of its Little Owls nurseries, Chapel Allerton, Gipton North and Kentmere, in order to make savings. But parents collecting their children from Chapel Allerton were adamant it should stay open.
It's a big decision, obviously, when you've got young children, to put them in somebody else's care. It's a difficult decision to make, but we feel really happy with the decision to send them to Little Owls. So the thought of having to make that decision again and research and visit lots of nurseries it's upsetting.
Well, I cried last night. It was emotional because I built a good rapport with the team. And the team is really, they're really professional. Yesterday I felt like my heart fell out of my body, really.
In a statement, Leeds City Council said, "We understand the concerns of parents. Our Little Owls teams are happy to support parents to explore the availability of a place at another Little Owls nursery, and we're engaging with parents on the potential of changes prior to any formal decision being made." The council's problems are symptomatic of difficulties across the nursery sector. Shipra Deb runs 8 nurseries in South Yorkshire and North Nottinghamshire and is battling a perfect storm of rising rates, prices and wage costs, chronic staff shortages and an expectation from the government that she can provide extra free childcare hours from April. Many nurseries are simply going under.
A massive hike in business rates has resulted in nursery owners scrabbling around to try and make ends meet, and it's caused a huge amount of stress. And eventually I think some people have just fallen by the way because they can't carry on firefighting for an indefinite period of time.
The children are happily oblivious to the problems their parents and carers face, and this nursery will survive. But the stresses in early years care are starting to show, and more closures seem inevitable. Cathy Killick, BBC Look North.
Thanks, Cathy. Now, fasten your seatbelts. An aircraft maker has set up plans to create more than 1,000 jobs, building a new factory in a village on the outskirts of Doncaster. Airships, to be used for short-haul flights, will be manufactured in Carcroft, in what's been described as a huge economic boost for the region. The modern airships will see 100 passengers transported in a cabin suspended below a 92-metre-long helium balloon. They'll reach speeds of around 100 miles an hour, which means they'll emit 90% less carbon than a traditional aeroplane. The companies say 1,200 jobs will be created at the factory, and the first airships will be floating into the sky come 2028. Our transport correspondent Spencer Stokes gets a glimpse of the future.
A very different kind of aircraft manufacturer making Doncaster its new home. Hybrid air vehicles will assemble their helium-filled Airlander 10 on the edge of Carcroft. The company's chief executive today finalising plans for a production facility that will create 1,200 local jobs.
Carcroft, Doncaster and South Yorkshire are a brilliant place to do this. The connections to the supply chain that we need are really, really strong. And these are aerospace jobs, right? This is the forefront of green aviation. It's a new type of aviation technology that cuts the carbon out of flying. Those aircraft have got demand all around the world. So these are high value jobs, aircraft assembly, component manufacturing here in Doncaster.
By 2028, 2 Airlanders every month should be produced here, with the first models destined for a Spanish airline. Each aircraft will be assembled in the hangars at this site. They'll then float out onto the airfield before lifting off into the skies above Carcroft en route to their destination. The 98-metre-long vehicles are set to become a familiar sight over the former mining town. But at this local cafe today, not everyone was convinced. So this is what they're going to build here in Carcroft.
So these like spaceships, they're what people are going to fly in. People are going to actually, 100 people are going to fly inside a helium-filled plane.
What is it, a giant airship? Quite the spectacle coming out of Carcroft. It's a giant air balloon.
Because it is a small area, there is limited opportunities, and the amount of jobs that could create could be great for everyone.
Well, I think at the end of the day, if it's environmentally friendly, then it's just got to be a good thing, hasn't it? It makes us different, doesn't it? It gives us something to be proud of.
As well as the Spanish airline order, there's interest from northern Scotland.
We see a very exciting opportunity, not just to move people, but to move freight, and also to make a very big contribution to tourism in Scotland, which is one of our largest industries, over £4 billion industry in the Highlands and Islands.
For Doncaster, it's a big economic boost in a city that lost its airport 15 months ago.
We want high-skilled jobs, high-paid jobs in the industries of the future, and that's why we're investing £7 million into this project, why we're supporting with that package of £7 million, because it's important that hybrid air vehicles have got that support to develop good new jobs in South Yorkshire that people from across South Yorkshire can access.
It's fantastic news for the city. I think it demonstrates how Doncaster is home to innovation, and to think that 1,200 jobs are going to come to this town, potentially because of this factory, it's a really positive boost for our economy.
It'll be 4 years before the first Airlander takes off, an event that surely won't go unnoticed in Carcroft. Spencer Stokes, BBC Look North.
Now, in other news, a trial has heard there is no evidence linking the alleged mastermind of an armed robbery in Bradford to the guns that shot 2 police officers. PC Sharon Beshanivsky died after being shot while responding to a robbery in 2005. Pirandita Khan denies murder and the possession of a firearm, but has pleaded guilty to robbery. Today at Leeds Crown Court, the defence barrister said there is no evidence, DNA or fingerprints linking him to the weapons. The mother of a 15-year-old boy who was hit and killed by a van in Sheffield is urging parents to talk to teenagers about organ donation. Debbie Enever made the decision to donate her son Dan's organs because they'd had the conversation before he died. And that decision has helped save the lives of 3 other people, as Nicola Rees reports.
Welcome to the Bereaved Parents Club podcast. I'm your host, Debbie Enever. And
it's the club no parent wants to join, surviving the death of a child. For Debbie, podcasting has been therapy since she lost her son Dan in 2018.
There was that moment when I turned up to look for him and realised that there were just police cars there, and nothing prepares you for the sight of your child lying on a gurney in A&E with their head in a brace and intubated to help them breathe. Nothing prepares you for something as horrific as that.
Dan was killed by a speeding van driver. He died in Sheffield Children's Hospital. On that day, Debbie made a decision that saved the lives of 3 other people.
Hiya, come on in. I'm all right, come in, Paul.
She agreed to donate her son's organs. Paul Neal is forever grateful for the kidney he received from Dan.
I probably might have been dead now. I do think about Dan. I haven't forgot about Dan, which I don't think I'll ever will. And Debbie, we've been in touch for the last 5 years. But when she gives me a cuddle, she always cuddles me a bit tighter. I think it's because Dan's kidneys in me.
Dan and I had conversations about organ donation from him being relatively little. And Dan was very much of the opinion that, look, if I'm dead, I don't need it, somebody else can have it. That was his approach.
Well, what can I say about Dan? We've never met him, but we feel like we've known him all his life since Paul got his kidney and since we met up with Debbie. We've got a great friendship out of it, and that's nice when you get that friendship.
I love that one.
Yeah, looks a character there.
He does. I mean, and that was just such a natural photo.
Yeah.
Debbie's been using writing to help her cope with grief, and this is the result, her first published book. She coined the word midowed to describe a mother who's lost a child.
I'd like to think that it will help other bereaved parents to recognise their own experiences. And also, I'd like to think that it will give them a little bit of hope, because I did survive the unsurvivable. There is hope.
Through her podcast and her book, Debbie hopes to encourage other families to talk about organ donation, something she knows Dan would be proud of. Nicola Rees, BBC Look North, Sheffield.
Now, sport time, and it has been a fantastic weekend, hasn't it, Sally? Lots to talk about, lots to celebrate.
It's been a weekend for champions. Yes, Tom, it was a huge weekend for Chesterfield, who won promotion back into the English Football League. They sealed the National League title with 5 games to spare after a hugely impressive season. And after the heartbreak of the playoffs last year, Saturday really was a day to celebrate.
Champion is ole, ole, ole.
After 6 seasons' absence, Chesterfield are going back into the English Football League.
In comes the corner, and in it goes!
The Spirites went top of the National League on the 16th of September and have remained there ever since.
Chesterfield's big day!
Saturday's 3-0 win at home against Boreham Wood was characteristically dominant.
Starts, and they do!
And at the final whistle, fans poured onto the pitch.
Promoted!
Knowing they were National League champions with 5 games to spare.
It's a dream come true, isn't it? Since I come to the club, I wanted to win. All my career, I've been wanting to win something, and at my age, it's just an absolute privilege to be a part of it, to be part of such a fantastic team, and we've done it. That's all I can think of at the minute. We've done it, and just absolutely, I feel like privileged to be a part of this group.
To do it and do it so convincingly today is even a relief, just a lovely feeling of emotion comes out from everyone, you know, when you win a league, when you win a game. But the hard work, the years I've been here, the years that supporters have supported them, I think this could be potentially the best they've felt in a long time.
We've got promoted and we've won the league.
They've worked so hard. You can see how much it's meant to them. I'm so happy they did it at home, where we could be there to support them, and we're just so proud of them.
And we're going to smash the next league as well. Did you love it?
Yeah, and it was the best game I've ever seen.
And what do we say?
Go Spirites!
There's some good teams in National League and there's some even better teams in League Two, so everyone's got to get ready for another ride.
Whether that ride will be bumpy or smooth, for now, Chesterfield fans can revel in the moment.
We're Old Town, aren't we? We're Old Town, aren't we? We're Old Town, aren't we? Yes.
And in ice hockey, Sheffield Steelers are celebrating too after winning the Elite League last night. They beat Guildford Flames on home ice to take their first league title in 8 years. It follows their Challenge Cup victory earlier this month, with a potential Grand Slam now in their sights if they can add the end-of-season playoffs to their collection.
Yeah, what a group of guys we had. What a hard trophy to win. The amount of consistency that's needed. You know, the ownership group that allows you to bring in players when you've got injuries and you know, there's just a lot of things that go into this, and just happy with us able to get it done.
Special moment, obviously. Been a long time coming, and obviously all the ups and downs and the stuff this team's come through in the last 7-8 months is a testament to every guy in there to be able to go on and to perform the way they have.
In boxing, Sheffield's Dalton Smith produced the fight of his career to beat veteran opponent Jose Zepeda on Saturday. Smith won in round 5 by knockout in front of a home crowd at the Sheffield Arena. He said doubts over his ability to step up a level had made him train harder. But Doncaster's Terry Harper was beaten by world champion Sandy Ryan, with her trainer Steffi Bull pulling her out from the fight after 4 rounds. Kadina Cox won her second medal of the Paracycling Track World Championships in Rio with a silver in the team sprint. Cox, who's from Leeds, took the silver alongside teammates Blaine Hunt and Jacko Van Gass in the mixed team sprint. She got a gold in the time trial earlier in the week. And on Saturday night, tandem rider Steve Bate, who lives in West Yorkshire, took silver, along with his pilot Chris Latham in the pursuit. Their medals add to GB Cycling's best ever World Championship medal haul, with a total of 31. And just time to mention that Huddersfield Giants and Castleford Tigers are through to the quarterfinals of the Challenge Cup, with a draw tonight on 5 Live. Tom.
Thanks, Sally. Thrilled for the Spirats. I've always had a soft spot for them since that 1997 unexpected semi-cup final. In the
absolutely
FA Cup.
Brilliant.
Good stuff. And talking of underdogs, a dog who was called Britain's most unwanted has finally found a home. Jake, a lurcher, first arrived at Dogs Trust Leeds aged 1 in 2015. He was found a home but returned in 2019 after spending almost 5 years at the centre. He's now been taken in by a couple from Keighley. Veronica and Keith said they felt an instant connection with Jake. Kevin Johnson, who cared for Jake at the centre, said the team was over the moon to see him rehomed.
We took him, me and another one of his regular handlers, took him to his new home in Keighley, and his doctors were there ready and waiting. It was so sweet. They put signs up in the window welcoming him. We're absolutely over the moon that Jake's finally at home with his family. It is literally the best news that we could have hoped for. He's waited so long, and we've known that he deserves this chance. And to find the perfect people after all this time, it's just wonderful. Literally everyone in the centre is just buzzing at the moment.
Great news. Now, it's been a wet Monday. What would cheer you up? Extra Paul Hudson? Well, allow us to oblige, because Paul is here in a frantic bid to increase your appearance fee, but with a brand new feature, aren't you? What's it all about?
Well, I'm really excited about that, because we've decided that there's so much going on in the weather and climate world that every Monday we're going to cover something of interest, and we're going to ask our viewers to send some questions in. So you've just mentioned the weather's being rubbish today. All eyes to summer. Are there any clues out there as to what this summer's going to be like? So that's our first talking point this Monday. And I'm going to start by showing you a map of the Atlantic from last summer. Now, you remember I did an outside broadcast in Filey. Now, those reds indicate record Atlantic temperatures, and believe it or not, it's been in record territory since May the 23rd last year. Now, other clues out there, Spain reported record temperatures in December and in January. And let's have a look at what's been happening across North Africa in the last week. Now, the reds, the intense reds show, again, record-breaking temperatures. That's in the middle of March. So there are a lot of clues out there. And this weekend, Spain and Portugal recorded record nighttime temperatures. So I know it's all a long way off, but that tells me that we could well face some exceptional temperatures this summer. Now, you remember a couple of years back where we managed 40 degrees, which actually blew records apart. Now, what we can't tell is whether it's going to be a settled or an unsettled summer, but it's odds on that we will see some very high temperatures late spring into summer, and it's something we'll keep a close eye on.
I'm writing down all those stats. There was a lot of information there, but you do want people to send us their questions, don't you?
Definitely, and we've even got what's called a QR code, Tom.
Don't
Look
swear.
at that. It's called Paul's Weather View. If you've got any questions, you want me to do a story, if you've got a weather or climate story, if you've just got any questions, we'll do this every Monday. There's a telephone number there, or point your smartphone at that QR code and you can magically get in touch. Now, let me just show you a couple of pictures that you've sent in the last 24 hours. A little bit of sunshine. That was sunrise around about 5:30 this morning. That was taken in Scarborough. And the second picture, again, just down the coast in Bridlington. Octopock sent that in. It was around about 5:45. Other than that, it's, of course, been a miserable day. Now, if you've got any pictures or you want to see more details on my thoughts about what this summer could be like, you can have a look at Twitter or Instagram. There's a short film on there, and you can, of course, send your weather pictures to the Weather Watcher website. So another very mixed week to come. There's more rain on the way, unfortunately, although tomorrow should be a little bit brighter. There'll be a little bit of sunshine around in places, but low pressure firmly in charge. It's just one area of showers, longer outbreaks of rain, especially Wednesday night looks very heavy indeed. Just a hint that we could see a subtle improvement in time for the Easter weekend. There should be more sunshine and fewer showers, hopefully by then. Now, there's a radar picture. The blues, the rain from today's moved out of the way, but we have been left with patchy rain and drizzle at times. So it's a bit of a grey evening, some mistiness over the hills, but eventually it will become dry with clear spells, some mist and low cloud around dawn, and we'll see temperatures coming in at around 4 or 5 degrees Celsius. Tomorrow's high water times, then Scarborough 4:45, Bridlington at 12 minutes past 5. So a grey misty start in the morning. There could be the odd spot of drizzle, otherwise it's dry. And although there'll be a lot of cloud, you can see there'll be a few breaks in that cloud sheet, a little bit of sunshine, just a small chance of a few showers. And then unfortunately tomorrow evening we'll see another band of rain pushing bodily northeastwards across all parts of our region. Temperatures in the brighter spots, we're looking at around about 12 Celsius. That's 54 degrees Fahrenheit. Looking further ahead then, it's a day of sunshine and showers on Wednesday, then a hint of some heavier rain to come on Wednesday night. We're back to sunshine and showers on Thursday and Good Friday. Now, there is a lot of uncertainty for the bank holiday weekend, the Easter weekend, but at the moment it looks a little bit better with, dare I say it, a little bit of sunshine, Tom. That's the forecast.
You promise and spoil us too much, Mr. Ambassador. Thank you to you and Mr. Octopock. Where would we be without you? That's as far as we go this evening. Do join Hannah. She's here tonight at 10:30 to share a cup of cocoa with the late headlines. Thank you very much indeed for your company from the Monday Look North team. Bye-bye.